We now have a winner in the hotly contested Virginia governor's race, an election closely watched ahead of next year's midterm elections. ABC News projecting Republican Glenn Youngkin, who made education a central issue, has won.
Amazing! Woo! All righty, Virginia, we won this thing! How much fun. Together, we will change the trajectory of this Commonwealth. And friends, we are going to start that transformation on day one.
ABC's Stephanie Ramos is at Youngkin's campaign headquarters. Stephanie.
Juju, you can hear the crowd behind me here at the campaign headquarters for Glenn Youngkin. They are excited, and we have seen this excitement, heard this excitement for the last several hours. He will be Virginia's newest governor. Now, Youngkin, he could attribute two things to his win, to his victory. He managed to get the endorsement from former President Donald Trump while keeping his distance, and he also hit on cultural hot-button issues. For instance, speaking out against critical race theory and also transgender rights in schools. And these were the issues that really riled up enthusiasm from voters across the state of Virginia, Juju.
Stephanie Ramos, our thanks to you. Well, the race is being viewed as a national referendum on President Biden and his agenda. Here's ABC's Kenneth Moten.
Tonight, Republicans in Virginia and across the country celebrating. Voters in the Commonwealth elected a Republican governor for the first time in over a decade. The election, an early referendum on the Biden administration. The president easily won the state by 10 points just a year ago. But now Democrats fear they're being dragged down by the president's low approval ratings and failure to get a sweeping social agenda through Congress.
You started to see in national public opinion polls and in Virginia, the numbers for Joe Biden slip. And by the end of it, by election day, they were essentially upside down from where they were just a few months ago.
We are going to get Virginia moving.
Youngkin, a political newcomer and former private equity executive, beat McAuliffe, a former governor of the state, by appealing to voters like Sandra Davis, a suburban mother of three and parents like her.
This is Todd. He's 20 now.
Lifelong Democrat. In 08, you voted for?
Obama.
12.
Obama.
16.
Love Hillary.
And then 20.
Definitely Biden.
But this year, she is an enthusiastic supporter of the Republican candidate.
But in the governor's race this time?
I voted for Glenn Youngkin early, as fast as I could.
Was this tough for you to vote for Glenn Youngkin?
Not at all. I knew 100% that that's what I would do.
Even appearing in one of his campaign ads.
Even though I'm a Democrat, I'm going to support Glenn Youngkin this year because I believe that he's going to put our children first. These are stuff we really have.
Her single issue, education.
That's the only topic when you're a mother. You want them to be able to go to school and get an education that's high quality.
Like tens of thousands of students across the state, Davis's sons endured almost a full year of remote high school during the pandemic.
They sat behind a computer for a year trying to learn things that were impossible to learn online, like calculus and algebra. And my son only learned 40% of his algebra class curriculum.
School board recall petition.
She and parents like her around the country are deeply angry at their local school boards and have channeled that anger into political action. On Election Day, Davis, who voted early, was at the polls at 6 a.m., encouraging people to recall the school board.
Why has this movement had such a groundswell?
Because we've been ignored by the school boards. We're supporting a man who listens to us and what our children need at this point in time.
These women are part of a group called Dems for Glenn.
You all made the switch, essentially, to Republican. For Youngkin, why?
He is willing to listen to parents, and he understands that schools and parents are an important topic this time around.
What are the number one issues for you?
Education.
Everybody, education. That's the number one issue.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Youngkin relentlessly campaigned on the issue.
We decide that we, in fact, are going to be in charge of our children's education.
While McAuliffe was perceived by voters like Davis to be indifferent, that feeling reinforced by this blunder at a debate in September.
I don't think parents should be telling schools what they should teach.
When he said that phrase, that sentence in the debate, what did you think?
It was so dismissive and upsetting.
We're just moms that wanted our kids to go to school and wanted them to learn. That it's really that basic.
Virginia has also been ground zero in the roiling debate over teaching about race and racism in public schools, and efforts by some districts to make education more inclusive.
Using diversity and inclusion on your page while propagating division and hate makes you a fraud.
You need to be arrested!
School board meetings in places like Loudoun County have devolved into bitter fights, tearing communities apart.
For you, it's not a black-white issue, though.
We have people in our group that are different ethnicities. I mean, we came together, different religions, different political parties. The social justice stuff is secondary.
Yeah, I want to be sure my kids are reading at grade level or possibly above grade level.
Those are race neutral. You know, wanting every kid to read doesn't matter what their race is. It's a unifier for parents.
Yes.
Yeah. Glenn Youngkin knew that from the start, that if he could find that sweet spot, find issues that got his base voters motivated, but that also connected to people as they live their lives, that's the way you win an election.
McAuliffe was also hurt by the lack of enthusiasm from black voters, a key constituency of the Democratic Party. Julia Spain is the Arlington NAACP president.
We're coming off of 4 years of a lot of hate, racism, and we're trying to move forward. The level of enthusiasm from many of our black voters here in Northern Virginia is not perhaps where it's been in years past.
Some black voters disappointed by the lack of change in democratically controlled government after the racial reckoning following George Floyd's murder. In their primary, Virginia Democrats passing on the chance to nominate 2 black women for governor.
You have black women, grassroots campaigns, and then here comes the former governor, Terry McAuliffe.
Yes.
Were you disappointed?
It was a little disappointing not to see them cross the finish line. That we're talking about building diverse coalitions to represent us, regardless of party. It's important that we have diversity at the top of that ticket.
Is the black vote taken for granted?
Oh, of course. Of course, it is taken for granted.
Black voters in Virginia say they don't see progress on issues they care about.
Housing. Affordable housing. Northern Virginia is particularly expensive. It continues to get more and more expensive.
And when you hear people say that this race is a bellwether for the nation and a referendum on the Biden agenda, do you feel that?
I do, because we're seeing a lot of those issues play right here in different parts of this state. Loudoun County right now is at the forefront of LGBTQ issues, trans students, critical race theory conversation.
The Democratic base simply didn't turn out in the kind of numbers they did for Joe Biden and the kind of numbers that they need to turn out when it comes to winning for a Democratic ticket in Virginia.
It was also the first election since last year's presidential race, which Trump repeatedly and falsely claimed was rigged. Here in Virginia, Jose, a Republican from Fairfax County, is watching polls for his very first time.
When we show up and we look at this, we want people to realize that we are there not to sway the elections.
Jose migrated from South America to the U.S. in 1970 and wants to honor the integrity of the election.
We all want to have honesty in our system. Voting is such an unbelievable thing. Americans don't realize the privilege they have in voting. Coming from a country like Latin America, it's not the same.
He, alongside other parents in Virginia, are fighting for similar issues.
You know, they want better schools. They want to see more presence from police officers. And of course, they want to see our taxes lower.
Youngkin's win tonight charts a path forward for Republicans looking to win back voters, especially suburban women who were turned off by Donald Trump.
Glenn Youngkin has been endorsed by Donald Trump 10 times. 10. He said so much of the reason why I'm running is because of Donald Trump.
Throughout the campaign, Terry McAuliffe tried to tie his opponent to the former president, but Youngkin kept Trump at arm's length.
Is Glenn Youngkin Donald Trump?
No, not even close.
Now, the country looking ahead to next year's midterms, Republicans hoping Youngkin's win is a sign of things to come.
Our thanks to Kenneth.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.